All right, so this is Haunted Mansion 2023. This is the newest Haunted Mansion. I just did a review of the original one. What was that, like last week? Yeah, this is much better than that one. That one sucks, the one with Eddie Murphy. I liked it when I was a kid. I really don't know why or what I was thinking back then. I guess I was just a dumb kid. I don't know. But yeah, this is better than that. I'll say how I feel about it in a second, though. But it's directed by Justin Simeon or Simeon. So in this, Ben, played by Lakeith Stanfield, he's a tour guide on the ghost tour, even though he doesn't believe in ghosts. So there's a whole backstory there. There's explanations for that. But he used to be, I think it was he was a physicist or something like that. And so he created he blended the ghost thing and the physicist thing together, and he created a camera that could potentially snap pictures of ghosts. And because of that, he gets hired by Gabby, played by Rosario Dawson, and she's in the mansion with her son, Travis, played by Chase Dillon. And they want him to come over and take some pictures to really prove that there are ghosts in the mansion, because it seems pretty obvious based on what happened early on in the movie that there's ghosts in there. So he gets there, he snaps some pictures or pretends to, and he doesn't believe it. So he leaves and goes back home, but it followed him home pretty much. And she warned him about that. Basically, whatever's going on there, whoever steps foot in there, they will haunt you until you return back. Like they want you there for reasons that'll be revealed later. And there's also Father Kent, Harriet, and Bruce. That's Owen Wilson, Tiffany Haddish, and Danny DeVito. One's a historian, one's a psychic medium, one's a priest, and they all work together to hopefully get rid of the ghost, or at the very least make it to where they can leave and not immediately have to return. So positives. I think the performances are all good. I kind of have some issues with some of them. We'll get back to that, but for the most part, I think they're good. Mainly Lakeith Stanfield, Rosario Dawson, and this kid in here, Chase Dillon. The kid, he has some of the best reaction shots, especially early on when he's running away from ghosts and things. That kid was legitimately really funny. And there's plenty of funny moments in here. Like I laugh pretty much throughout. It has really good comedic timing and comedic moments between the characters, especially with Lakeith Stanfield, who was my favorite character in this. He's the more jaded one, and so he's the one that's the most not like the other characters. A little bit more. They're a little bit more colorful. They're a little bit more a little bit more caricature-ish, right? And so he's the normal one that's kind of reacting to what they're doing, and I thought that was really fun. I thought the interactions with them worked, and by the end of it, they did have a certain camaraderie that I felt, and I thought was really good. They really lean into the mystery of this, where you find out about people who were in the mansion or died in the mansion and how they died and things like that. And there's a villain in here played by Jared Leto, who I think does a really good job with the voice and all that. Hatbox. I think that character's in the ride. I've never been on the ride, but I've seen videos of it. I'm pretty sure that character's from the ride. And there's plenty of Easter eggs from the ride that I recognized, that I thought were done way more tasteful than that nonsense in the original movie in 2003. But there's a lot of creative things here, right? I think it's shot well, nice camera work with it too. They go into the other realm at one point, and the hallways seem to go on forever, and there's certain moments involving crocodiles and things like that. Lakeith Stanfield's house gets flooded, and that looks really good. There's a lot of really creative stuff in here. I think they did a good job with all that, and the effects are great. Like the ghosts look great. I will say there's one moment that I thought looked a little bit off, when Lakeith Stanfield's running in the halls, changing as he's running. He was kind of stiff as he was going from one hallway to the other one. That didn't look all that great, but for the most part, I thought it looked really great throughout. So negatives, because I have a few. I will say, even though I think they did a decent job with what they had, Owen Wilson and Tiffany Haddish and Danny DeVito felt a little SNL sketch, right? Like they just felt like they were kind of themselves. A little bit exaggerated, a little bit, but for the most part, you just kind of saw them, especially with Owen Wilson, and that kind of threw me off. I was like, I kind of feel like I know you want to get these names in here, but I kind of feel like it would have been better if you'd have just cast other actors and things. I think that would have been a little bit better. The length, it is quite long, and there were scenes that I was like, okay, you could probably cut that out and you'd have a leaner movie here, and it would flow better. The pacing is, I think, is good. I think it keeps moving, but there are definitely scenes where I was like, okay, I don't need to be sitting here for 2 hours. You could cut this out, this out, this out. So yeah, that was also something. Jamie Lee Curtis, I think she's probably the worst in this. Right? I think she's kind of putting on an accent and things like that. She's the Madame Leota. She's in the Crystal Ball, and I thought her performance could definitely be better. Definitely didn't care all that much for it. It's fine, but I didn't care that much for it. Definitely the weakest of the movie, and there are definitely emotional moments in here that don't really have the impact that they should have. Right? I don't think they have enough development. Like there's something that happens with the kid later on, big emotional moment, and you just found out, the setup of it like right before that, so you didn't really get the impact of it. It doesn't feel earned, and that definitely threw me off. And it's more of a funny movie anyway, so like the emotional moments, they don't last that long. They don't really have that much of it because we have to get back to having more of a comedic fun tone. And there are contrivances in this, creating a ghost camera, that's ridiculous. But early on, even Rosario Dawson walking into this mansion, it's like she's never stepped foot in there before, or the kid hasn't, or whatever. And it's like, I'm sure you didn't buy that. Got all to the point where you bought this mansion, moved in and everything, and then decided to look around it. I liked learning about the different ghosts and the people in the mansion. And I think by the end of it, I thought it had a really solid climax by the end too. And I like the characters for the most part, and things like that. It actually is a lot funnier than I thought it would be. So I'm gonna give this a good enough. I think it's mostly a success on what they were trying to do here. Not great, but definitely a good movie, and definitely better than the original one. But anyway, that's Haunted Mansion 2023, and yeah, we're done.